Ladies and gentlemen, the Amazon River, one of the most powerful and influential rivers on Earth, finds its origin high in the towering Andes Mountains of South America. More specifically, the river's most distant source can be traced to the Nevado Mismi, a snow-capped peak located in the Arequipa region of southern Peru, standing at over 5,000 meters, 16,000 feet, above sea level. From this remote and rugged terrain, small streams formed by melting snow and glacial runoff begin to trickle down the slopes, gradually joining to form larger waterways. One of these initial tributaries is the Carasana River, which eventually feeds into the Apurimac River. This river then merges with several others, including the Ucayali and Marañón rivers, which are major contributors to the formation of what becomes known as the Amazon River further downstream. This network of tributaries forms a vast and complex hydrological system that gathers strength and volume as it descends from the Andes and pushes eastward across the South American continent. The process of determining the true origin of the Amazon has fascinated geographers and scientists for centuries. Over time, multiple expeditions were launched to trace the furthest source of the river. In the 1970s, and later confirmed in the early 2000s through satellite imagery and GPS technology, Nevado Mismi was widely accepted as the most distant source. What makes this discovery significant is that it demonstrates how the Amazon, often associated with lush rainforests and vast floodplains, actually begins its journey in a cold, barren, high-altitude region far from the tropical lowlands it is famous for. As the river emerges from the Andes, it undergoes a dramatic transformation. It gathers strength and momentum, carving its way through dense rainforests and lowland basins, fed by thousands of tributaries. By the time it reaches the heart of the Amazon rainforest, it has become a mighty force of nature, capable of shaping entire ecosystems and influencing the climate of not just the region, but the entire planet. The Amazon River does not belong to just one country. It is a transcontinental waterway that weaves its way through several South American nations, forming a vital part of the landscape, ecology, and culture of each region it touches. The river's journey begins in Peru, where its earliest tributaries originate high in the Andes Mountains. As it flows down from the peaks and gains momentum, it travels across vast swathes of Peruvian territory, carving valleys and nourishing the lush tropical ecosystems that define the Peruvian Amazon. From Peru, the river briefly touches the southeastern edge of Colombia, cutting through the dense and sparsely populated Amazonian jungle. Although its course through Colombia is relatively short, just over 100 kilometers, it plays a key role in connecting remote communities and providing a natural corridor for wildlife. This stretch is known for its isolation, with minimal human settlement, making it one of the more pristine parts of the river's course. The river's most extensive passage, however, is through Brazil, where it becomes truly monumental in scale. Once it enters Brazilian territory, the Amazon transforms into a wide, powerful artery that winds its way across nearly the entire width of the country from west to east. In Brazil, the river forms the heart of the Amazon basin, the world's largest tropical rainforest, home to millions of species and countless indigenous tribes. This section of the river is central to Brazil's environmental, cultural, and economic identity. In addition to these three primary countries, Peru, Colombia, and Brazil, the Amazon River's basin also impacts several neighboring nations, including Ecuador, Bolivia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. Though the main channel of the river does not flow through all of them directly, the thousands of tributaries feeding into the Amazon originate or pass through these regions, contributing to the vast hydrological network that defines the basin. The presence of the river across multiple countries highlights its transnational importance. It is not just a natural resource or a means of transport. It is a shared lifeline that connects ecosystems and cultures across borders. Each country along its path relies on the Amazon River for fresh water, agriculture, fisheries, transportation, and climate regulation, underscoring the need for cooperative management and conservation across national boundaries. The Amazon River is one of the longest and most voluminous rivers on the planet, with a length that stretches an astonishing 6,400 kilometers, approximately 4,000 miles, from its source in the Peruvian Andes to its mouth at the Atlantic Ocean in Brazil. This incredible length allows the river to traverse a wide array of landscapes and ecosystems, from rugged mountain valleys and dense tropical rainforests to lowland floodplains and sprawling wetlands. The exact length of the Amazon River has long been a subject of scientific debate, primarily because of the complex network of tributaries and seasonal changes in its flow. For decades, the Nile River in Africa was considered the longest river in the world. However, more recent studies and satellite mapping have presented evidence suggesting that the Amazon might actually be longer, depending on which tributary is considered its true source. If the Apurimac or Mantaro rivers in Peru are accepted as the most distant sources, then the Amazon could slightly surpass the Nile in length, though this remains a topic of ongoing geographical research. Regardless of whether it holds the top position, what makes the Amazon especially remarkable is not just its length, but the sheer scale of its drainage basin. The Amazon River Basin spans over 7 million square kilometers, 2.7 million square miles, roughly the size of Australia. This vast network includes over 1,100 tributaries, 17 of which are more than 1,500 kilometers long themselves. These tributaries feed into the main river, enhancing its size, strength, and complexity as it moves toward the ocean. As the river flows eastward across the South American continent, its width and depth grow dramatically. In some areas during the rainy season, the Amazon can swell to more than 24 miles, 38 kilometers, wide, transforming entire forests into temporary waterways and submerging vast regions underwater. The river's volume is so immense that it discharges more water into the ocean than the next 7 largest rivers in the world combined, accounting for approximately 20% of the world's total riverine freshwater output. The enormity of the Amazon River is not just a geographical curiosity. It plays a profound role in shaping the ecosystems, weather patterns, and human settlements that depend on it. Its vast length enables it to act as a corridor for wildlife migration, a channel for transportation and trade, and a critical component in the water cycle of the entire continent. The Amazon River, despite its ever-changing flow and dynamic environment, has roots that stretch far back into the geological history of Earth. Scientists estimate that the formation of the Amazon River began approximately 11 million years ago during the late Miocene epoch. However, the river as we recognize it today, with its eastward flow across the South American continent, took its more modern shape around 2.4 million years ago during the Pliocene-Pleistocene transition. Understanding the age and development of the Amazon River requires a look into the dramatic tectonic and climatic changes that have shaped the South American continent over millions of years. In ancient times, the land that is now the Amazon basin was part of a vast inland sea or shallow freshwater system. The Andes Mountains, which now form the river's western boundary and source, had not yet reached their towering heights. As these mountains gradually rose due to the collision of the South American and Nazca tectonic plates, they began to influence the flow of water across the continent. Originally, water from this proto-Amazon system flowed westward toward the Pacific Ocean. But as the Andes continued to grow and block the natural drainage routes, the direction of water flow was dramatically altered. Rivers were forced to reroute and began flowing eastward toward the Atlantic Ocean instead. This reversal of drainage was a monumental shift in the continent's hydrology and marked the beginning of what would eventually become the modern Amazon River. Sediment studies and fossil records from deep beneath the Amazon basin offer compelling evidence of these changes. Layers of sediment, dating back millions of years, show the transformation from marine environments to freshwater systems. Fossils of marine organisms found far inland suggest that large parts of the Amazon region were once submerged or connected to coastal waters. Over time, these areas filled in with sediment carried by the newly formed river and its tributaries, creating the flat, lush, and swampy terrain we associate with the Amazon today. This immense geological history makes the Amazon River not only a marvel of nature, but also a living timeline of Earth's evolving landscape. Every bend, basin, and tributary carries the legacy of millions of years of tectonic uplift, erosion, climate change, and biological evolution. The river's ancient origins are a reminder of the slow, powerful forces that shape our world over time and how those forces continue to influence life across an entire continent. The Amazon River is not merely a geographical feature. It is one of the most ecologically vital and dynamic systems on Earth. Flowing through the largest tropical rainforest in the world, the Amazon River serves as the central artery of a vast and intricate network of life. It sustains an ecosystem so rich and diverse that it is often referred to as the lungs of the planet, due to its immense role in producing oxygen and regulating the global climate. The Amazon River and its basin are home to more than 3,000 known species of fish, with new species still being discovered regularly. This number surpasses the diversity found in any other river system in the world. Among its most iconic inhabitants are the Amazon River dolphin, Bodo, the giant arapaima, piranhas, and electric eels. The river also supports countless species of amphibians, reptiles, and birds that rely on the river's waters and surrounding wetlands for survival. One of the unique ecological features of the Amazon is its seasonal flooding, which can cause the river to swell to several times its normal width. This annual flood cycle, known as the flood pulse, is essential for distributing nutrients across vast areas, replenishing the soil, and enabling the growth of aquatic plants and trees such as the agapo and varzea forests. These flooded forests are among the most productive ecosystems on the planet, offering breeding grounds and shelter for a myriad of species. The Amazon River also plays a pivotal role in the global carbon cycle. The dense vegetation of the rainforest absorbs billions of tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, helping to mitigate the effects of climate change. The river system itself helps transport organic material, sediments, and nutrients that are essential to maintaining the ecological balance, not only locally, but globally. Its flow influences rainfall patterns across South America, including in regions far beyond the Amazon basin, and even impacts the monsoon cycles in Africa and Asia through interconnected atmospheric systems. Beyond its biological significance, the Amazon River also provides a lifeline for the millions of people who live in and around the basin. For indigenous communities, the river is central to their way of life, offering water, food, medicinal plants, and transportation. For urban populations, it is a source of hydroelectric power, agriculture, and fisheries. The biodiversity it supports is not only important for ecological reasons, but also has potential value for medicine, biotechnology, and agriculture. The sheer scale of the Amazon's ecological influence is almost beyond comprehension. Spanning more than 7 million square kilometers, the river and its basin encompass a complex, interdependent system of life that connects water, land, air, and climate in delicate harmony. The Amazon River has not only carved its way through the South American continent, it has carved its presence into the history of humanity. Long before European explorers ever set foot in the region, the Amazon basin was home to sophisticated indigenous civilizations, many of which had a deep understanding of the river's rhythms and ecology. These ancient peoples thrived along its banks, developing intricate societies, trade systems, and spiritual practices that revolved around the river's life-giving waters. Archaeological evidence has uncovered geoglyphs, buried villages, and terra preta, a type of fertile, man-made soil, suggesting that dense populations lived in the Amazon for thousands of years and engaged in sustainable agriculture and forest management. These communities built raised fields, dug elaborate fish ponds, and cultivated the land in ways that supported both biodiversity and long-term habitation. The Amazon River was central to these cultures. It was their highway, their food source, their medicine chest, and their spiritual guide. The arrival of Europeans in the 16th century marked a dramatic turning point in the history of the Amazon River. In 1541, Spanish explorer Francisco de Orellana became the first known European to navigate the length of the Amazon, journeying from the Andes all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. His expedition, originally in search of the fabled city of gold, El Dorado, ended up documenting vast stretches of the river and the tribes that lived along its course. According to Orellana's accounts, the river was densely populated, with thriving communities lining its banks. Observations that were later dismissed by many historians but have since gained support from modern archaeological findings. The river was named Amazon after Orellana claimed to have encountered fierce female warriors reminiscent of the Amazons from Greek mythology. Whether this account was accurate or embellished, the name endured and came to symbolize the river's mystery and majesty. Over the centuries, European colonization brought waves of exploitation, conflict, and disease to the Amazon basin. Countless indigenous groups were displaced, enslaved, or wiped out by epidemics introduced from abroad. The river, once a source of life and connection, also became a channel for conquest and tragedy. During the rubber boom of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Amazon River once again became a focal point of global attention. As demand for rubber skyrocketed due to industrialization and the invention of the automobile, the forests along the river were tapped for latex, and the region experienced a surge in economic activity. However, this boom came at a devastating human cost. Thousands of indigenous and local laborers were subjected to brutal working conditions, and vast tracts of forest were cleared or degraded in the rush for profit. The Amazon River's historical significance is not limited to ancient and colonial times. In the modern era, it has become a symbol of both the environmental richness and the ecological threats facing the world today. It has been the site of scientific exploration, political struggle, and international debate, as conservationists and developers clash over how its vast resources should be managed. The Amazon River and its surrounding rainforest are home to the greatest concentration of biodiversity on the planet, making the region a living testament to nature's complexity and abundance. This immense ecological network supports a staggering variety of life forms, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth. From the smallest insects hiding beneath the bark of ancient trees to the largest freshwater fish swimming through murky waters, the Amazon is a biological treasure trove still not fully understood by science. To put its diversity into perspective, the Amazon basin is estimated to host more than 3 million species of plants and animals. Its waters alone harbor over 3,000 species of freshwater fish, including fascinating creatures like the arapaima, one of the world's largest freshwater fish, capable of growing up to 10 feet long, and the electric eel, known for its ability to generate electric shocks to navigate and defend itself. The Amazon River dolphin, or bodo, with its distinctive pink hue, is another iconic resident, steeped in local mythology and folklore. But the aquatic realm is just one part of the Amazon's rich biosphere. The dense rainforests flanking the river are teeming with life. Jaguars, tapirs, sloths, capybaras, and giant otters roam the undergrowth and riverbanks, while the canopy above is alive with howler monkeys, macaws, and harpy eagles, one of the largest and most powerful birds of prey in the world. Thousands of species of frogs, snakes, and insects fill the gaps between, each contributing to the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Even the plant life in the Amazon showcases extraordinary diversity and specialization. It is estimated that the rainforest contains over 40,000 species of plants, including towering ceiba trees, medicinal herbs, lianas, and epiphytes that grow directly on other trees, high above the forest floor. Many of these plants have properties that are still being studied for their potential use in medicine, agriculture, and industry. In fact, a significant portion of modern pharmaceuticals are derived from compounds originally found in Amazonian flora. What makes the biodiversity of the Amazon so unique is not just the number of species, but also their interconnectedness. Every organism plays a role in a vast web of relationships, from pollination and seed dispersal to predator-prey dynamics and nutrient cycling. The river's seasonal flood cycles, for instance, allow aquatic species to migrate into flooded forests, where they spawn, feed, and interact with terrestrial species in ways that blur the lines between land and water ecosystems. Scientists believe that millions of species, especially insects, fungi, and microorganisms, remain undiscovered in the Amazon. Each new expedition and study uncovers life forms that challenge our understanding of biology and evolution. The river and its basin function as a natural laboratory, offering insights into how life adapts, evolves, and survives in one of the most dynamic environments on Earth. The Amazon River is not confined to a single country. It is a truly international river system that spans and influences a vast portion of South America. Originating high in the Andes Mountains of Peru, the river journeys eastward across the continent, flowing through Colombia and primarily Brazil before emptying into the Atlantic Ocean. In total, the Amazon River's watershed encompasses parts of 8 countries: Peru, Brazil, Colombia, Bolivia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Guyana, and Suriname. This immense geographical footprint makes the Amazon not just a natural marvel, but also a significant geopolitical entity that binds multiple nations through shared resources, environmental challenges, and cultural ties. Brazil contains the majority of the Amazon River's length and basin. About 60% of the Amazon rainforest lies within its borders. As a result, Brazil plays a central role in the river's governance and conservation. The river flows through the heart of the Brazilian Amazon, including the major city of Manaus, which has historically served as a vital economic and logistical hub for the entire region. However, the Amazon is not owned by Brazil alone. Countries like Peru, where the river originates, and Colombia, through which it briefly flows, also depend on the river for transportation, drinking water, fisheries, and agriculture. The Amazon's international reach has led to both cooperation and tension among the nations it touches. On one hand, the shared reliance on the river and its ecosystem has fostered regional agreements and collaborative conservation efforts. Organizations such as the Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization, ACTO, have been established to encourage sustainable development and resource sharing among the Amazonian countries. These collaborations are vital, given that deforestation, illegal mining, and pollution in one nation can have direct consequences for others downstream. On the other hand, the river also serves as a strategic asset, and its resources have become points of contention. Debates often arise over issues like land rights, indigenous sovereignty, and the exploitation of natural resources such as timber, oil, and minerals. In some regions, especially in remote border zones, there have been disputes over jurisdiction, military presence, and control of river traffic. Illegal activities, such as unregulated fishing, drug trafficking, and unlicensed logging, also occur along the river, complicating geopolitical relations and enforcement. Culturally, the Amazon River unites a mosaic of ethnic groups, languages, and traditions. From indigenous tribes that have lived in harmony with the river for centuries to modern settlers and urban populations, the Amazon basin is home to a diverse array of communities that rely on the river for food, transport, spiritual practices, and identity. In this way, the river acts as a natural corridor, not just of water, but of cultural exchange and historical connection, bridging otherwise isolated regions and peoples across South America. The geopolitical significance of the Amazon is further amplified by its role in global environmental discussions. The world looks to the Amazon not only as a biodiversity hotspot, but also as a critical regulator of the Earth's climate. International governments, environmental organizations, and indigenous advocates all have stakes in how Amazonian countries manage the river and its surrounding forests. As climate change accelerates and pressure mounts to exploit natural resources, the Amazon River's role on the world stage continues to grow in importance and complexity. The Amazon River is far more than a geographical landmark. It is a cultural lifeline that has shaped the identities, beliefs, and traditions of countless indigenous and local communities throughout history. For thousands of years, the river has inspired stories, rituals, and legends that reflect the deep spiritual connection between the people and the natural world surrounding them. Among the numerous indigenous groups living along the Amazon's vast expanse, the river is often regarded as a sacred entity, a living being with its own spirit and personality. Many tribes tell tales of the river's origins and its creatures, weaving these stories into their cultural fabric and worldviews. For example, the Agua people believe the river was created by a powerful female spirit, while other groups have legends about giant serpents or river dolphins that protect or threaten those who live nearby. These narratives serve as moral guides, teaching respect for nature and the delicate balance necessary for survival in such a complex ecosystem. The river also plays a central role in traditional subsistence activities such as fishing, hunting, and agriculture. The seasonal cycles of flooding and ebbing dictate the rhythms of daily life, influencing when and how communities plant crops or harvest fish. These practices are often accompanied by rituals and ceremonies meant to honor the river's generosity and ensure its continued bounty. Songs, dances, and festivals frequently celebrate the river and its importance, preserving cultural heritage through generations. Moreover, the Amazon River has inspired countless explorers, writers, and artists over the centuries. The mystery and majesty of the river have found their way into literature, painting, music, and film, captivating the imagination of people worldwide. From the early European explorers' dramatic accounts to contemporary works of fiction and documentary, the Amazon's cultural influence extends far beyond its physical borders. It stands as a symbol of adventure, mystery, and the untamed power of nature. In modern times, the river remains a vital source of cultural identity for many indigenous communities striving to protect their land and way of life. As development, deforestation, and climate change threaten the Amazon basin, these groups have become powerful advocates for conservation and cultural preservation. Their traditional knowledge about the river and forest ecosystems is increasingly recognized as crucial for sustainable management and environmental stewardship. The interplay between the Amazon River and the cultures it nurtures continues to evolve. New generations blend ancestral traditions with contemporary realities, maintaining a dynamic cultural landscape that honors the river's past while facing the challenges of the future. The Amazon River, therefore, is not only a physical entity, but a living cultural heritage that connects people, history, and nature in an ongoing story of resilience and reverence in conclusion, the Amazon River is much more than just the world's largest river by volume. It is a vital force of nature, history, and culture that continues to shape life on Earth in profound ways. From its ancient origins in the misty Andes to its vast journey through the heart of South America, the river nourishes an incredible diversity of life and connects millions of people across national borders. Its ecological importance, rich biodiversity, historical legacy, and cultural significance make the Amazon a true treasure of our planet, one that calls for our respect, understanding, and protection. As we look to the future, preserving the Amazon River and its rainforest is not only essential for the survival of countless species, but also for the well-being of humanity as a whole. It is our shared responsibility to ensure that this mighty river continues to flow, thrive, and inspire for generations to come.